Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we got a lot of broken dates today. So the first news come today is coming from Russia. So we've just gotten news come today that the Ukrainians have yet again struck Russia with the ATACMS American-made missiles on Russian territory. So I think this is the third time the Ukrainians have used this weapon on Russian territory. So the ATACMS missiles attacked the military airfield of I'm pretty sure it's Taganrog, this small Russian city here. So the Ukrainians targeted this exact airfield here. So on December the 11th, 2024, Ukraine launched a missile strike on the Tangorod military airfield in Rostov region using 6 US-made ATACMS ballistic missiles. 2 missiles were intercepted, the rest were diverted by the means of electronic warfare. Minor injuries and damage to vehicles and buildings was reported. So this is coming from the Russian military of defense. So we've gotten some videos of the Ukrainian strike on the military airfield. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, we've first got an image and a video. So this image is obviously showing one of the parts of the ATACMS missiles that struck the military airfield, and obviously this is old satellite images, but just from a satellite's bird's view we can see quite a lot of military aircraft. These kind of look like transport aircrafts. The only kind of attack aircraft I managed to see from this is just some of it seems to be like MiG-31s, maybe some MiG-21s, MiG-15s, but these seem to be probably used for spare parts or something. So very interesting news. So we've just got a news coming from Bloomberg. Due to this Ukrainian ATACMS missile strike on Russia, Russia may launch another medium-range ballistic missile, the Oshnik, at Ukraine in the coming days, according to Bloomberg, citing US officials. So Russia yet again might use a ballistic missile on Ukrainian territory. It might be Kiev or Lviv or Dnipro again, we don't know, but Russia may be using the Oshnik ballistic missile once again, and this would be again the second time in history that a ballistic missile will be used. So big news. We've also gotten some more Ukrainian strikes coming in Russia today. Ukraine targeted Grozny in Chechnya, Russia. So Ukrainian kamikaze drones attacked special police regiments barracks in Grozny, the capital of the Chechnya in Russia. So at least 4 soldiers were injured as a result of this attack. And now let's go to some news, some production news, new inventions. So we got on news that a new Su-57 engine was spotted. So you can see here in this film here, and some images here in your bottom left corner. First footage of a new Su-57 fighter engine has appeared. So the film will also feature, the film also featured for the first time the latest reality armament, reality helmet for the Su-57 pilots, which integrates a weapon targeting system. So not just the Su-57 has apparently gotten a new engine, I guess, update. It's also the Russian Sukhoi design company has also provided a brand new helmet for Su-57 pilots that apparently has the latest modern features, which allows to actually lock onto other planes just using the helmet. We've also got some news coming from the foreign ministry in Russia. Russia tells its citizens not to travel to the United States. Russia tells its citizens not to travel to the United States, and Russia should avoid heading to Canada and most states in Europe, Moscow warns. So Russia has warned its citizens not to travel to the United States and other Western countries, claiming that they could be hunted, quote unquote, by the authorities in those states. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokeswoman issued the warning in a new briefing on Wednesday, saying Russia could be caught in the crosshairs of precarious relations with the US. We've also got news today that Putin and Hungary, the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, discussed the matters of Ukraine in a call, the Kremlin states. So the Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday discussed the war in Ukraine in a call with the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who is casting himself as a possible peacemaker. So, according to the Kremlin, Putin stated that there are a thorough exchange of views on the Ukrainian issues. The Kremlin said in its readout of the call, adding that Putin said Kiev had adopted a destructive position that ruled out peace agreements. So he said that to Viktor Orban. Now let's go down. Let's go to Ukraine, where Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, also called the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. So Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, suggested to Zelensky a Christmas ceasefire and a potential large-scale prisoner swap. The Hungarian Prime Minister noted, but Zelensky has rejected Hungary's proposal for a Christmas ceasefire in the conflict with Russia and a large-scale prisoner swap on Christmas Day. So it seems that there will be no ceasefire on Christmas Day regarding the front lines of Ukraine. We've also got some more statements come from Zelensky, that Zelensky expresses optimism about Trump's potential role in achieving peace. So in an interview with CBN News, President Volodymyr Zelensky shared his belief that former US President Donald Trump and his team might secure peace swiftly and leveraging strength. Zelensky stated that Ukrainians trust Trump's commitment to his goal. The key points from Zelensky's interview with CBN was Ukraine is already in communication with Trump's team. The invitation in NATO should encompass all of Ukraine, though Article 5 protections may not apply to all territories immediately in Ukraine. Enhanced military support from allies could intensify Ukraine's pressure on the battlefield. Diplomatic solutions could address some challenges if military resources prove inefficient. Russia has abducted at least 19,000 Ukrainian children during the war. The president of Ukraine states. We've also gotten some aid packages coming from Ukraine today. The Canadian House of Commons approves 587 million in military aid to Ukraine. The Canadian Parliament's House of the Commons have approved 587 million in military aid for Ukraine as part of its broader budget package, allowing the government to spend an additional 21 billion Canadian dollars on various priorities, including national defence. The Defence Minister Bill Blair stated that the funds would be directed towards munitions, training, and other essential resources for Ukraine's victory. And we've also gotten some more aid packages come today. Sweden is to deliver 40 new IFVs, the CV9035s to Ukraine. The total contract value is 35 billion, 2.3 billion US dollars. The Swedish government chancellery reports. Germany will hand over the 6th IRIS-T and Patriot launches by the end of the year. Germany is the country that has given Ukraine the most aid among all European states. The total amount of support for Ukraine from Germany is 37 billion euros, added the Prime Minister. We've also got news that Ukraine will only have enough money for the first half of 2025 without US assistance. The head of the Ministry of Finance of Ukraine, Sergei Manchenko, is in an interview with the Spanish newspaper El País, stated that we have enough funds, enough weapons, and enough missiles, and enough artillery shells to hold at least for the first half of 2025. He added, Ukraine must have a plan to create conditions for cooperation with the Trump administration, Manchenko added. So, according to the Ministry of Finance of Ukraine, Ukraine has enough money and military equipment for at least for the first half of 2025. And we've also got some more videos coming from Mariupol. So it seems that Mariupol's construction is getting bigger, and reconstruction is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can see this video here. Some footage is coming out from Mariupol showing Ukrainians shopping and how there are new supermarkets that are being built, and reconstruction continues in these previous Ukrainian territories, major cities like Luhansk, Mariupol, maybe Donetsk a bit later. But interesting news. The next news today is coming from Slovakia, where yet again the Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico said that he considers it his personal duty to visit Moscow on Victory Day in 2025. He says that Slovakia is in favor of normalizing relations with Russia and against a new Iron Curtain in Europe, the Slovak Prime Minister stated. We've also gotten some news coming from Poland that the EU allocates 170 million to Finland, Norway, Poland and Baltic countries to protect their borders from Russia and Belarus. This was reported by the head of the European Commission, von der Leyen. So the EU provides 170 million euros to obviously Finland, Norway, Poland and Baltic countries. That's not the only news coming from Poland. The President of France, Macron, arrives for a visit to meet the Prime Minister Donald Tusk in Poland. There were numerous topics of mutual interest, but the priority is to discuss the outcome of recent meetings with the US President-elect Donald Trump and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Additionally, the visit aims to establish common priorities for Paris and Warsaw in the context of Poland's presidency of the European Union. So Macron right now is visiting, the President of France, Macron, is right now visiting Poland, where he's discussing numerous things, and the biggest topic there is obviously Ukraine. Now let's go to Germany, where we've got news that the German cabinet announces that the German government's debate on the vote of confidence in the Olaf Scholz Chancellor's government is scheduled for December the 16th. So I'll keep you updated on that. So I'll put that on the calendar. December the 16th, the German government will be casting out a vote for Scholz government's confidence. So I'll keep you again updated on that. Let's go to Ireland, where we've got some news that Ireland is to formally intervene in the South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the ICJ. So, according to the Irish Deputy Prime Minister, he stated that by legally interfering in South Africa's case, Ireland will be asking the ICJ to broaden its interpretation of what constitutes the commission of genocide by a state, the Irish Deputy Prime Minister said. He also stated that we are concerned that a very narrow interpretation of what considers genocide leads to a culture of immunity in which the protection of civilians is minimized. Now let's go to Syria, where we've got news that the Spanish Foreign Minister has first announced that we must consider removing the name of the HTS rebel group from the list of terrorist organizations. So this was stated by the Spanish Foreign Minister, and we can expect even the United Kingdom even doing this. There have been talks in the United Kingdom at the moment regarding the government of removing the rebels from the terrorist group, and we can probably draw conclusions that other countries in Europe might do the same. And probably one of the biggest news come today is that the new Syrian Justice Minister announces the introduction of Sharia law in Syria. We've also got news of destruction of alcohol in Syria due to obviously the Sharia law. So alcohol is now forbidden, and we can see these videos of obviously mass alcohol stores are now being obviously destroyed, and other things are taking place. We've also got news that the revolutionary leader of the HTS stated that no country supported our struggle or encouraged it. We fought with locally made weapons. He also said that Syria will not engage in another war, and Syria's new government suspends the constitution for duration of transition period until March 2025. We've got some news coming from Israel's operation in Syria. So France now condemns Israel's operation in Syria, and France tells Israel to withdraw its forces from the Syrian buffer zone. So France tells Israel to withdraw its forces from Syria's buffer zone. France Foreign Ministry urged Israel to stop its incursion into the buffer zone that separates Israeli-controlled Golan Heights from Syria. We've also got news that the IDF continues to do its operation, and the Israeli Defense Forces seized a tank and ammunition from the Syrian army positions in the buffer zone of the Golan Heights. So the push of the Israeli forces continue to grow. And that's really all the news I've gotten from Syria at the moment. There's some big news regarding Russian troop movements and some deals that are being struck up with Russia and Turkey regarding the Russian trap troops in Syria. But again, I'm getting all the news so I can put it just in one big video. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've got some news coming from Ethiopia, Turkey, and Somalia. So Ethiopia and Somalia have agreed on Wednesday to hold technical talks to resolve a dispute sparked by Ethiopia's deal with Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland, according to the statements following talks in Turkey. So Turkey has been mediating between the two East African countries as tensions between them have simmered since Ethiopia signed a memorandum of understanding with Somaliland in January to lease a land across its coastline to establish a marine force base. In return, Ethiopia would recognize Somaliland's independence, which Somalia says obviously it's theirs. So Somalia obviously thinks Somaliland is a part of their territory. So the reason why Ethiopia did this is obviously, if you look at Ethiopia, it's a landlocked nation, and obviously they wanted to get access to the sea, so they did a deal with Somaliland, the breakaway province from Somalia, and obviously Somalia is not happy. So let's continue with these statements. So a joint declaration was reached after the Turkish President Erdogan met separately with the Somali President Hassan and the Ethiopian Prime Minister on Wednesday. It says that the sides agree the talks, which should begin by February 2025 and concludes within 4 months, would respect Somalia's territorial integrity while recognizing potential benefits of Ethiopia's access to the sea. So there's a potential deal that might be struck between Somalia and Ethiopia in February 2025, and hopefully I'll keep you updated by then. Now let's go to Afghanistan. We've got some news that a suicide bombing kills Taliban minister. So a suicide bombing in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, on Wednesday claimed the life of Taliban's refugee minister, Khalil, according to the Interior Ministry officials. So the blast inside the ministry building marked the most prominent casualty from bombings in Afghanistan since the Taliban regained power 3 years ago. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attacks, and the officials provided no further details. So the Taliban, a Taliban minister was killed in a suicide bombing, and the Taliban authorities seem to not wanting really to be talking about it at the moment. And the next news we have received today is coming from China. So we talked a little bit about this in the previous video, how the ex-president of Russia has visited China. So we've gotten a little bit more news about his visit. So Dmitry Medvedev, the former president of Russia, met with chairman of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, Wang Huning, during a high-level visit to Beijing. So the full aftermath of that meeting hasn't been made public yet. So by the time of next video, we should have the full information about their meeting and his overall visit to China. But we know one thing, that during his visits to China, the ex-president of Russia, Dmitry, laid flowers at the monument to the people's heroes in Beijing. So the people's soldiers in Beijing's Tiananmen Square, a memorial to those who died during China's 19th and 20th century revolutionary struggles. We've also got some interesting news coming from Taiwan, that Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense stated that 34 Chinese People Liberation Army aircrafts and 16 Chinese naval vessels were detected operating in the vicinity of the island of Taiwan. So, military aircrafts, of which 26 Chinese jets in the area north of Taiwan, off the coast of China's Zhejiang province, 6 in the Taiwan Strait, and another 15 in the southwest of the island. So apparently 12 warships entered near the Taiwan national barriers, this line here. And Taiwan said that the People's Liberation Army's aircraft simulated strikes on foreign warships and practiced repelling attacks on military and civilian aircrafts as part of a blockade exercise. So China kind of launched a small exercise around Taiwan, which in total 47 military aircraft was used, and 16 Chinese naval vessels were used. And now let's head to North Korea. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but we'll just repeat it today. So apparently, according to Aviation Week and the Indo-Pacific Admiral of the U.S. Navy, Russia plans to transfer MiG-29 and Su-27 aircraft to North Korea in exchange for North Korea sending soldiers to support Russia, according to Admiral Samuel, the commander of the U.S. forces in the Indo-Pacific region, reported by Aviation Week. So, North Korea may also gain access to technologies for producing ballistic missiles and air defense systems as part of the deal, according to Aviation Week, citing the U.S. Admiral. We've also got news that the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un broke his silence on last week's short-lived declaration of martial law in South Korea. He called the president of South Korea. He called the president of South Korea a puppet who tried to unleash a fascist dictatorship on South Korea, on a gangster nation of South Korea. So that's what Kim Jong-un stated about the martial law in South Korea. We've got some more news coming from Argentina. That's the president of Argentina announced the launch of an Argentine nuclear plan aimed at promoting nuclear energy as a strategic cornerstone for the country's development. We've also got news that Argentina ended its deficit for the first time since 123 years, stated the president of Argentina, and Argentina's general inflation number for November were 2.4%, marking the lowest MOM numbers since July 2020. Now let's go to Haiti. We've got news that Haiti's international airport reopens amid gang violence, but for how long? So after months of gang violence forcing its closure, Haiti's capital's international airport reopened on Wednesday, marking a new beginning for the nation. The government sees this as a turning point for the economy and safety in the country. It is unclear when commercial flights will resume in the airport here, but we've got news that the US extended its ban on the airport. So I'll keep you updated on that. And the last news come today, and it is coming from the US. So we've got news that Trump has just invited the president of China, Xi Jinping, to his inauguration. So the ceremony will take place on January the 20th, 2025, Other foreign guests will also be invited to Donald Trump's inauguration, including the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. So, very interesting news, and that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Non-C News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.